and some snow for the weekend across the bi-state region. What the model guidance is telling us tonight ahead of our weather impact alert that starts Friday.
Tonight, the data center debate drawing a lot of noise in Franklin County. The pleas to preserve nature. Plus, a young boy knocked off his scooter by a car and sent to the hospital.
Yeah, I feel lucky since I'm still alive.
Tonight, the search for a hit-and-run driver. First tonight, calm and cold in St. Louis, but brace yourselves. It's about to get even colder and snow is possible. Thanks for joining us on 5 on Your Side at 10. I'm Mike Bush.
And I'm Kelly Jackson. Our next weather impact alert goes into effect in about 72 hours from now. Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell tracking our next Arctic blast and a winter storm that could bring us measurable snow.
You know, this is going to be a historic winter storm, not so much for St. Louis, but for areas to our south. We have our weather impact alert that we issued for later Friday into Sunday. That was a couple of days ago. We did it because we know it's going to be cold, bitterly cold. That air arrives Friday. Any snow that comes as we go into Saturday is going to be very dry, very powdery. It's very light snow, doesn't have a lot of moisture with it. How far north the snow makes it and the timing on that will determine how much will fall and will end up on the ground. We do think there will be accumulations across the area, especially along and south of Interstate 70. We can guarantee you the cold air is spilling in here as we go into Friday night and through Friday night into Saturday. Temperatures will drop back into the single digits, but those wind chills, this is Friday afternoon, already below zero here by midnight into early morning on Saturday, 10 to 20 degree below zero wind chills. Add into that the fact that we expect some snow, probably 1 to 4 inches is our initial guess, especially along and south of I-70. That means at least some slick roads, but the wind chills, that's the bigger impact here, at least initially and over the entire region. We'll talk more about who sees the snow and the heaviest in a few minutes.
All right, Scott, this is an evolving forecast, and our team of meteorologists will provide constant updates on our free streaming app. Just click the QR code on your screen to download for free. You can also get the latest weather impact forecast anytime on your phone. Text the word weather to 314-425-5355.
Tonight, the data divide is playing out on both sides of the river. Proposals for controversial data centers drew large crowds in Troy, Illinois, and in Warren and Franklin counties in Missouri. 5 on Your Side's Brent Solomon is in Villa Ridge, where right now a heated planning meeting is now in its 3rd hour, and it's all due to plans for a data center in the backyard of a popular nature reserve.
Standing room only right here at the Franklin County Government Building as people on both sides of this issue not only weighed in, but made sure the Planning Commission could hear their voices.
No data center! No data center! No
Just before tonight's meeting, protesters gathered outside of the government building and even on nearby streets so that those driving by could see their signs loud and clear. The majority protesting the development of a data center in Franklin County. As we've seen in many localities, there are concerns over the cost of utility bills, whether or not the costs will be passed on to the consumer. But in this specific case, there's another concern. The Shaw Nature Reserve would be directly across from the proposed data center, and neighbors say they're concerned about wildlife as well.
How it pollutes and how it uses a huge amount of water and a huge amount of electricity, and we're worried about, is our community going to be able to keep up with that?
Data centers are clean. You can eat off the floor in a data center. We're not talking, it's not like we're building a refinery, a meat processing plant, or a toxic dump. This will bring hundreds of construction jobs to the area.
The Planning Commission will now be faced with making a recommendation, which will then head to the Franklin County Commission. Brent Solomon, 5 on Your Side.
Those against the data center say they've collected more than 3,700 signatures. If the commission recommends plans move forward, neighbors will have another opportunity to weigh in before the county commission makes its final decision.
Tonight, Alton teachers confronted their school board about several actions they call disrespectful. In one incident, Alton Education Union President Sarah Carter says a board member referred to her as a, quote, peon, a word used to describe people who do menial work. Carter says the lack of support from the board has led to a decline in teacher morale and more people taking sick leave.
One of the most significant contributors to low morale is that many of our members do not feel safe speaking up. When concerns are raised, they are often met with dismissive responses, leaving staff feeling brushed off.
Board member Christina Millian says the board supports all teachers in the district, and the comment made to Carter does not warrant further action.
New information tonight on a deadly shooting in the Metro East that left a young woman dead and another injured. Hours ago, investigators identified the gunman as 25-year-old Christopher Boyd of St. Louis. Police say Boyd was stalking his ex-girlfriend Saturday night. Surveillance video shows him shooting and killing one of her friends, 18-year-old Shenandoah Burton, after she walked up to his car on Jamestown Road. A few hours later, police say Boyd shot and killed himself during a traffic stop in Perry County.
Tonight, St. Louis County Police are looking for the driver who hit a 9-year-old boy and left the scene.
This happened more than a week ago near Shackelford Road and Central Parkway in Florissant. Hours ago, 5 on your side's Robert Townsend spoke to the young mother and the young survivor.
Mike and Kelly, the little boy's name is Cameron Davis. He and his mom are so relieved that the third grader survived the frightening crash. Betty Davis says her son is still recovering, but the good news, he's in good spirits. It started out as another nice family walk to a neighborhood store for Betty Davis, her husband, and their 2 boys. 9-year-old Cameron was ahead of his parents, riding his electric scooter with his 5-year-old brother in tow.
I used to do it all the time, riding around that circle.
You like it?
Yeah, it was fun.
But on that Sunday afternoon, January 11th, the family's fun suddenly took a terrible turn.
So I was riding my scooter, and then I stopped to let a car pass, and I looked both ways, and then this car just sped up and came and hit me out of nowhere.
The Davises told police someone in a black truck sped down the street, hit Cameron, knocked him off his scooter near Shackelford Road and Central Parkway, and sped off.
But it was scary at first because I thought he was still on.
Amazingly, his brother wasn't hurt, but Cameron suffered road rash on his face and fractures in his back and hip area.
It was terrifying for me. It's like my heart dropped. I thought my son was gone.
Cameron's dad chased the driver.
He ran as fast as he could after the car. My husband walked up and down the street. He lost the car.
You saw his face?
Yeah, I think I saw him wear a orange jacket, because I saw something orange in the car.
Cameron is now using a wheelchair and a walker to get around.
I can't walk on it all day. Then my back gonna start hurting.
His mom says her little guy who loves football
I feel blessed.
is recovering well.
Cross my fingers.
All right, good luck. As for the wanted driver,
Just turn yourself in.
That's not right. At least he could have stopped.
Cameron spent 2 days in the hospital. Today was his first day back to school. Now investigators are asking anyone who witnessed that hit and run or saw the black truck that hit the little boy to call St. Louis County Police.
A trial began today for the Eureka man charged with killing a Herman police officer. Kenneth Lee Simpson is accused of shooting and killing Detective Sergeant Mason Griffith at a gas station in 2023. He also injured Officer Adam Sullentrup. The trial could run through early next month. Prosecutors are seeking the death penalty. Also today, a judge sentenced the man who hit and severely injured a St. Louis police officer to 1 year in prison. 62-year-old Frank Carr crashed into Officer Nathan Speece last March and left the scene. Speece lost part of his leg in the crash. Carr was also sentenced to 5 years of probation and ordered to help amputees through community service.
Opening statements get underway tomorrow in the federal fraud trial for former St. Louis Alderman Brandon Bosley. A jury was seated today. Bosley is accused of trying to defraud an insurance company by inflating a car repair estimate. Bosley pleaded not guilty to 4 counts of wire fraud and 1 count of making false statements to the FBI. Earlier this month, he rejected a plea deal that would have dropped the false statements charge. Prosecutors appear to have recordings of conversations they argue show criminal intent. The trial is expected to wrap up by the end of the week.
Dozens of demonstrators gathered near Union Station tonight demanding the White House remove ICE agents from communities. The gathering in downtown comes 2 weeks after an immigration enforcement officer shot and killed an anti-ICE activist in Minneapolis. They are calling for the agent to be charged. The Trump administration says the agent was justified. President Trump also discussed the shooting today.
I felt horribly when I was told that the young woman who was had the tragedy. It's a tragedy. It's a horrible thing. Everybody would say, ICE would say the same thing.
Tonight, the White House announced Vice President J.D. Vance will be in Minneapolis Thursday to join a roundtable with local leaders and community members.
St. Louis tornado survivors have less than a month to secure recovery funds as the city sets a deadline for its private property assistance program. City officials met with the community at the Yateman Middle School tonight to walk them through the application process, which closes on February 14th. The program covers demolition, home repairs, and debris removal for anyone impacted by the May 16th tornado. Frustrated residents say this last-minute deadline leaves them struggling to keep up.
Just a lot of paperwork that you have to assemble to try to get that, turned into them, and then you're still trying to work a job, and it's just hard. It's been hard. So as much as they can streamline that process, I think that would be an excellent thing to do.
The purpose of the deadline is twofold. We've got to activate those FEMA dollars. In order to do that, we've got to have a RFP out. We've got to put that work out to bid. And number two, we've got to be able to start forcibly getting some of these vacant absentee landlords to the table.
Homeowners are hoping to form a neighborhood association to bridge the communication gap with City Hall. Well, people on both sides of the river were shaken awake early this morning by a 3.8 magnitude earthquake.
It hit near Ullman, Illinois. That's south of Springfield along the Montgomery-Christian County line, about 5 miles underground. More than 1,900 people reported feeling it across Illinois, Missouri, and even Indiana. While no damage was reported, a geologist tells us quakes like this often raise one big question around here.
We're not likely to have a large earthquake for either my lifetime or my kids' lifetime here, but you never know. And so this area does have a slightly higher than average seismic risk.
Again, no damage reported, but the quake is already giving scientists new data to study.
Oh, it smells like skunk weed.
Neighbors raising a stink over a growing industry.
It seems it's getting worse.
The obnoxious odor complaints now seeping into City Hall. Skating on the edge of glory.
It's kind of your one moment to shine.
Tonight, an Olympic legend sits down with 5 on your side and shares her high hopes for Team USA in Milan.
A weather impact alert from Friday into the weekend. A bitter breeze returns to the bi-state Friday. We're tracking how the moisture will interact with that cold air over the weekend.
It is the end of an era tonight in Rock Hill. Hours ago, the owners of Hacienda Mexican Restaurant announced they will close this Sunday after more than 50 years in business. Last fall, they announced they were selling the historic building on Manchester due to rising costs and other factors. For now, they plan to continue operating through catering and a food truck. Hacienda's popular chips and salsa will also remain on sale at local grocery stores.
Tonight, the city of Rock Hill is asking the state health department to investigate another business. People who live near the Rock Hill Industrial Court have been complaining about a pungent smell of pot. City leaders say the complaint started in 2021 when Proper Brands opened a 60,000 square foot warehouse to grow and manufacture marijuana.
It's just not a good smell, and it's not a good look for a really nice development.
We had 99 complaints from April to December, and I would say in the last few months we've been getting more complaints. The smell seems to be a little bit stronger.
Neighbors, along with representatives from Proper Brands, plan to speak at the next Board of Aldermen meeting on February 3rd.
We're now just 17 days away from the opening ceremony of the Winter Olympics in Milan Cortina. Some events start 2 weeks from tomorrow. The Olympics can turn unknown athletes into household names known around the world.
In 1992, figure skater Kristi Yamaguchi became one of America's most celebrated Winter Olympians of all time. 5 on Your Side's Corey Miller sat down with the skating legend to reminisce and shine a light on the new generation of Olympic heroes ready to star in Milan.
When you say American figure skating, few names come to mind before Kristi Yamaguchi. In 1992, at just 20 years old, she became a sensation as the first Asian American to win a gold medal at an Olympic Winter Games.
It's pretty incredible when you have success there and then you come home and all of a sudden life is a lot different.
And she remembers that gold medal moment like it was yesterday.
It was the Triple Lutz, and I was skating into it, and I was so scared. And as I was in the air, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna fall. Like, I'm not landing this. And somehow I was on my feet at the end, and it was, I'm telling you, it was pure training that kicked in at that point.
The United States has developed many notable skaters since 1992, but 2026 could be the most loaded team yet. And the Olympic legend can't wait to see the next generation in action, like the quad god, Ilya Malinin, who is redefining what's possible on the ice.
I don't think I've ever fathomed we would see a quad axel in our lifetime. And here is Ilya Malinin doing it almost with ease.
And the second act of Alyssa Liu, a fellow Northern California native who Yamaguchi has developed a connection with over the years.
You know, at 16 and retiring, there was just, oh, there's a little bit more left in you, Alyssa, come on. I was like so sad when she retired, and to see her come back, and the reason for it, you know, she said she found the joy again.
And if they show some highlights from '92 during competition this year from Milan, well, here's what Yamaguchi hopes fans remember about her golden winner in the spotlight.
When you're cheering for someone and they somehow pull through, and it inspires them to go after their dreams as well. You know, hopefully they can pass it on to their kids and encourage them maybe to find someone, that's current day that can inspire them.
And of course, 5 on Your Side is your home for the Winter Olympics in Milan Cortina. Corey is headed there to cover the games. The opening ceremony is February 6th.
Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell is here with the weather impact forecast. We are bracing for more cold and snow.
Some snow. I don't think it's going to be a huge storm for us. It will be for areas to our south, but the cold is just going to be awfully bitter here. You're looking at the 7-day forecast, and what really sticks out is our weather impact alert here on Friday into Saturday and Sunday. And quite honestly, we might move that weather impact alert to start a little sooner on Friday, because the trends have been for the last few runs to really drive that cold air into the bi-state region a little bit sooner. And once it gets here, it's here through the weekend, plus our chances for some snow as well. Now, I don't know why I had 2 7-day forecasts at the top, but they were there. And we have the cold air coming. This is Friday at noon. At that point, temperatures in St. Louis will be around 10 degrees. Wind chills will already be below 0. We are mainly cloudy, but at this point, we're dry. And that dry air is flowing around this Arctic high pressure system. That tends to eat at this northern edge of the snow as it tries to advance towards us. Now, this is the raw model output from one European run. Okay, there's a whole bunch of European model runs that get essentially averaged out together. Same with the American, same with the Canadian. European seems to be doing the best overall, but what we think is this northern fringe of the snow is really going to be limited on accumulation because of that dry air. We know it's extremely cold. We know that down to our south, Memphis, Little Rock, Dallas, over to Nashville, Atlanta, Charlotte, the Smokies. This is going to be a rough go for some of those folks down there. We're talking about some places down to our south getting more than a foot of snow where you see that deeper, darker blue, and then a significant ice storm that knocks out power for days potentially farther to the south. We get into St. Louis. As you go south of St. Louis, the amount of snow potentially goes higher. We're thinking 1 to 4 inches generally along and south of 70. Will we adjust that a little bit over the next couple of days as we get more data? Yes. With temperatures that are close to 0 plus some snow, that means we're going to need extra time if we try to drive. We also need to be prepared for some pipes freezing. Wind chills early on Saturday are going to be down in the 10 to 20 degree range, even below 0, even in the metro area. So 45 tomorrow. We're at 33 right now. It'll be 37 on Thursday. A couple of relatively quiet days before this cold surges in, and then we deal with some of that snow. By Sunday morning, I think we're just down to flurries. Expect the ground to be white in many areas. North of St. Louis, the amounts will drastically taper off, but we don't know exactly where that line is going to be, where we go from next to no snow to 2 or 3 inches of snow. That's going to be over a pretty short distance from north to south.
And you'll be refining that forecast as we get closer.
Absolutely.
All right, Scott, thanks. Frank is next with sports.
SLU almost gave us a heart attack. How did Mizzou do against Georgia? And what about those Blues in Winnipeg? We have it all, and it's for free. We'll be right back.
This 5 on Your Side Sports Report is sponsored by FanDuel Sportsbook. FanDuel is now available in Missouri.
The SLU Billikens are riding the wave of their first appearance in the top 25 in 5 years. And let's don't forget that 11-game win streak they packed for the trip to Duquesne. However, Duquesne didn't get the script. We were all expecting an easy win. Duquesne dished out some drama instead. SLU started to get hot early in the second half. Amari McCautry, a little crossover into the glass. Remember how your coach said follow your shot? I didn't do it enough. Robbie Avila does for 2 of his 14 points right there. Later, Billikens on the break. Trey Green to Dion Brown. The Billikens had a 17-point lead in the second half. We can't show you SLU highlights without Kellen Thames. How's this for an emphatic dunk? The Pride of Pattonville had 10. But Duquesne made a late run. David Dixon cut it to 1 with 26 seconds to play. SLU held on. They're 18-1 after an 81-77 victory.
I could not tell you what we were doing the last 5 minutes other than trying to obviously make it exciting for the fans, and we did, and put ourselves in jeopardy there. So it was about as how-to of how not to close a basketball game.
Do you know that Dennis Gates and Mizzou are 29-2 at home over the last 2 seasons? About a minute to play. Tigers down 4. Jaden Stone with a gorgeous turnaround, and the Tigers are down 2. Then Jacob Cruz will drain what I think at this point was the biggest shot of the season, and Mizzou goes up 1. However, Mark Millender for Georgia will get the bucket and 1 over the 7-footer Sean Phillips. And Cruz had one last shot. Not going to fall. Georgia goes to Columbia and wins 74-72. It's extremely cold in Winnipeg this time of year. They live in below zero temps nearly 24/7. It's expected to get to 33 below zero later this week. But that still isn't as cold as the Blues when it comes to playing on the road. They came into tonight's game 31 days since their last win away from Enterprise Center. John Hamm, shooting a show in Winnipeg, why, brought his blue sweater to cheer on his team. Second period, 2-0 Jets, Justin Falk, and the one-timer for Jordan Kyrou, his 9th goal, note down 2-1. Third period, the Blues have to pull Joel Hofer, and unlike the note, most teams score with an empty net. The Blues lose their 7th straight road game, the final 3-1 Jets. The Mizzou football Tigers got a key commit at the end of the portal window. Quarterback Chris Graves left Ole Miss, and he's now a Tiger. Graves started 9 games and played all 15 games in the Rebels secondary. He has 1 year of eligibility remaining. I am told by sources close to the program that tomorrow could be another big day in the portal for the Mizzou Tigers. Today was a big day for 2 great baseball players. The Baseball Hall of Fame announced 2 members, Carlos Beltran, who spent 2 seasons here in St. Louis and is one of the game's best switch hitters. He was as elegant on the field as he is off the field. Andrew Jones is also in with his 434 career home runs and 10 Gold Gloves. You know, Carlos loved our town.
Those 2 years were perfect. I made an All-Star game a couple of those years. I got the opportunity to go to the World Series 1. I was able to win the Roberto Clemente Award. Just to be able to play with, Wainwright, who was a great teammate, Yadi Molina, Rafael Furcal, and, and the guys that were there, Carpenter, and all those guys. There's no doubt that moment really gave me the opportunity to continue and continue to play baseball.
Kent Williams in 14-1 to Smet on the road facing Kevin Walsh and 15-1 Vianney. 2 spectacular coaches. Jordan Boyd is one of the best in the area. He was hot early. This 3 gets the Spartans fired up. Shortly after, he hit again. He had 22 points in the first half. Here comes Vianney, though. No-look pass to Mamadou Berry, who is going to finish right there. And then Ben Carson He shows his sharpshooting ability. Up top, he had 7 threes. Vianney beats DeSmet 61-55. And that will do it in sports.
All right, Frank, thanks. We'll be right back.
An all-new episode of Outside the Forecast has dropped on our free streaming app. This week, meteorologist Lance Blocker talks about how your phone helps forecast the weather.
Actually, because of the way that phones operate, they actually check the barometric pressure because of something. I mean, I have a cell phone, but I don't know the details of what the mechanical makeup is, but for some reason, they need to know the air pressure. And so there's actual research right now for incorporating everybody's cell phones into forecast models. Interesting, huh?
Catch the whole episode on demand. Just scan the QR code on your screen to download our streaming app.
And there you have it, 5 on your side at 10. We're always streaming on your phone and smart TV.
Have a great tomorrow.